Hey guys, this is Crypto the Dog here. So I thought it might be kind of fun to do a simulation today, and I'll kind of try to maybe do like a kind of where I create an algo from start to finish. Um, I thought it might be kind of useful for the people that don't really know where to start. I don't know how successful this will be, but I thought I'd kind of go through the thought process that I go through. All right, so what I'm going to do is go ahead and load up the simulator. I'm using Soft4fx in this um, video. If you want a link to that to download a trial version, there is a link in the description. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to load up the simulator here. I'm going to switch over. I'm going to do the Aussie dollar just because I find that it's kind of a little bit more volatile, which I like to do when I create systems. So go ahead and do that. We'll start the sim here. Go ahead, load the charts. I'm just going to go through this quick. If you guys need to know how to load the charts or how to set up the simulator, I'll link it to my blog post in the description that shows how to do that. So we're going to do this one on the hourly chart, but you can do it on daily, of course, whatever you want to do it on. That this all applies the same way. So, all right. So we got my chart loaded here. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, I've got a clean chart template that just gets rid of all indicators, sets my chart, to candles, how I like it. We're going to move this over a little bit from the edge. All right. So we're going to start with indicators. So first off, I like to start with a moving average. So the way I personally do my trades is I like to use a 200 moving average, right? And then if price is above the 200 moving average, then I only take long trades. If it's below the 200 moving average, then I only take short trades. The 200 moving average is kind of like the standard as far as trend direction goes. So let's go ahead and add that here. So we're going to do trend, moving average. We're going to make this 200. Do simple and head. Okay. So here's the moving average. This is where it starts. So with the simulator, it doesn't always load the whole moving average. You've got to start the simulator to get that. So that'll get going as soon as we start. As you can see right now, price is above it. So if we were going to take trades right now, we would wait until we got a signal for a long trade. All right. So let's add a volume indicator. Volume indicators are good for kind of telling if a trend is just like getting started. If it changes direction and there's no volume, then you probably don't want to enter your trade just because it's not going to continue most likely if there's no volume. So let's go up here. We're going to load Hawkeye volume indicator, and I will link all these indicators in my description too. So we're going to load Hawkeye. We're going to set the moving average length on this. Let's try it at 50. I don't know if that's going to work, but we'll try it there and we'll see what shows up. Okay, so here's our 50 moving average right here. It's this dotted line. I actually can't see that very well, so I'm going to change it a little bit so that I can see the line. Levels, colors. Okay, Okay, so that's this line right here. We're going to change this to white. And we're going to change this to a little bit thicker. There we go. Now I can see that line better. Alright, so the way these volume indicators work is you want to kind of look for price to go above the moving average, which is kind of what we're doing here. So if you look right here, price goes above the moving average and sell volume right here, which would have put that one right there on that candle. So we technically would have entered at the opening of this candle. So if we did that, followed the trend until it went back below this volume indicator, we would have got out, let's see, right at that green bar there, which would have given us 46 pips. Let's go ahead and add the ATR here. I forgot about that. That way we can kind of see where it was in relation to the ATR. Alright. So actually, you know what? I've got ATR text so that it doesn't take up a full indicator position here. Let's see. Sorry guys, this video is just kind of going through my thought process when I start setting up a algo, so it's kind of going to be all out there, but maybe some of you will find it useful. Okay, so I'm going to switch this to 100%, so that'll give me a 1x ATR for this number, and we'll just have to add 5 of it to do our stop loss. Okay, so our ATR here is 17 pips. So if we were going by the ATR here, we would have definitely hit our take profit on that trade. So that was a good position to enter right there. It did get us, you know, into the trend maybe a little bit later, but it did give us a full trade. So let's kind of look down this list and see. So the way this indicator works, so you've got the red lines, which means it was mainly sell volume. You've got the green lines, which means it's mainly buy volume. And then you've got these white lines. So the white lines means that it was neutral buy volume. It was equal buy and sell. So if we've got lines here that are just right where we would enter a trade that's kind of neutral, we don't want to enter the trade right there just because it's, you know, we kind of don't know what's happening. But we do have a red line right here above the moving average that we could have entered on the next candle. So let's take a look and see if we would, what we would have got there. So there's a red line there. So we technically would have entered right here at the bottom of that candle. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. There we go. Better. Okay. So we would have entered right here at the end of that candle. So this candle began, what, right there is where this candle began? Okay. So we would have entered there, and we would have got out, if we were using this as our exit indicator too, we would have got out on this bar right here because it dropped down below. So let's say we would have entered that trade, would have got out at, let's see, this candle right here. We would have been at 13 pips. So we wouldn't have quite hit our ATR on that one. We may have actually got stopped out. So I don't know. We'll try these settings and see how it goes on the simulator and go for there. So the volume is going to be one of my entry requirements. Excuse me. It's got to be above this line right here. Gotta get some water. I'm dying. Okay, so it's going to be above this line right here for the entry for the volume, and we've got to have either red or green to enter. We won't enter on a white volume type. So another one I want to enter is I'm going to enter what's called the Megatrend here. It's basically a whole moving average. That's going to help us stay in trends long and kind of filter us against pullbacks. That way we won't necessarily exit a trade until we get a change of color in that whole moving average. That's the one I usually use for my exit indicator. See here, Megatrend, right here. Okay, so the standard is 144, is what that's set up for. And I find that too long, but I'm going to put it up here on the chart so you guys can see it and you can kind of see how I adjust it. So as you see, we would have entered right about here, which if we waited for, so if we got volume in the red and we said, oh, well, let's wait until we also get red on this whole moving average, that would have put us in a lot later. That would have put us in at this green candle here. And by then, our downtrend is already done. So we need to see if we can get this to change to where it'll put us in, you know, right around this second candle where the volume put us in at. So we're going to shorten the time on this a little. So let's go ahead and change this. We're going to change it to 40. Let's see what that does. Hit OK. Okay. So as you can see, that changed our downtrend quite a lot, right? So now it puts us in on this candle where we also got our volume above the moving average here, our sell volume. So that's about right for that downtrend. So let's look at this uptrend here and see what it did there. So with the uptrend, it looks like we would have had, so it turned blue here, but we still had white volume, right? We've got green volume above the moving A right here. So we technically would have entered on this candle right above where that MMA started. So let's say we entered there. We followed this trend all the way until we get a red signal, which would still be up here. We still technically, oh, sorry guys, my daughter's in here. She insisted on sitting in here, so I apologize for noises. Okay, so let's say we entered right here on this trend, right? And we're going to use this whole moving average as our exit indicator. We would, so far, we would have gotten 57 pips on that trade. I don't know when it's going to change yet. We'll start the simulator and find that out. But we would have so far received about 57 pips on that trade. So that's pretty good. In this downtrend, if we would have stayed in that for the entire length of the HMA, see, we would have entered this candle here, and we would have exited on this candle. Let's see, well, we got blue here, this candle started here, so we would have got about 42 pips on that entrance. So we actually may, if we would have used this as the exit indicator, well, we still would have got the same amount here, 42. So I guess in that situation, it doesn't really matter. In case you guys don't know, when you're using this Crosshair Tool, if you drag it down that middle number, the number where it says, right now it says 604, that is the distance in points between your starting point and your ending point. So 10 points is 1 pip. So in this case, where my cursor is right now, the distance from the top to the bottom is 62.3 pips, just in case you didn't know what that was. All right, so looks like we might be starting to get on to something good here. So we're going to leave the HMA at 40 for now, leave our volume level at 50. Actually, maybe we'll change this to 42 so they match. Let's see 40. I guess 50 would kind of give us a longer term trend, but let's see what this does. Didn't really change much. We'll leave it there for right now. Okay, so we've got that in. We've got a trend indicator. We got our volume indicator right here. I'm gonna add. I like to add CCI as well for a confirmation indicator. So we're going to add that one. That one I'm going to add the Nexus CCI because I like the way that one looks. It's not a line indicator, it's a graph indicator. Okay, so it's a histogram indicator. Okay, so we're going to add that here. The default period is 14, so we will add that and kind of leave it and see where it's at. As you can see, the colors are blue and orange with this. I'm going to change them to green and red so that they kind of match our volume indicator. So we'll change this to, not sure what green that is. We'll do, I guess, spring green. See what that does. Change that to spring green. And change this to red here. And red right here. Okay. See what that does. Okay, there. So now they kind of match our volume indicator as well as our candles. Maybe we'll change the whole moving average to be green too, just so that we have confluence in colors. It's a little bit easier that way for me at least, because I can look for, all colors to match, I guess. I don't know, you may find it easier another way, but there we go. So we've got green on the uptrend, green for volume, and green for CCI. So let's kind of look at those two indicators, and with this is our exit indicator. So again, our entry indicator is going to be whatever direction we're taking the trend, which in this case it's above the HMA. Actually, you know what? Maybe we'll remove this 200 moving average for now, and see how it goes without that. Let's kind of just go by this whole moving average. So if we've got green on the whole moving average, we'll enter long. If we've got red, we'll enter short. And then of course, green for the volume. So let's type up some rules here that we're going to try out. Okay, so first off, we want our first rule to be the Hawkeye volume let's see, we'll do it as the HMA Hawkeye volume and CCI must all be the same color. Okay. The volume indicator, the color must be above the moving average. And then our exit indicators will be when the HMA changes colors. And we might add more to this later, but let's kind of see where this goes. Okay, change that to red so we can see it. Okay, let's give that a shot for a few minutes and see what happens. All right, so we've got our charts loaded here. We're gonna change this to, so if you watched my previous video, the way I like to do it is I like to go next bar, so I like to go candle by candle. You of course could adjust this tick volume here to go faster or slower if you wanted to do it that way. I personally like to do bar by bar, so we're going to go that way. Okay, so we've already got a long trade in here, so we're not going to enter until we get signals for another trade going the other way. So let's go to our next bar. See, we're still climbing. Okay, so we've got our first red signal right here, and our red on the CCI, but we don't have volume yet above the moving average. So let's go to our next bar, see what happens. There we go. So we've got white above the moving average. Again, we don't want to enter if it's white. We want to wait until it's our color. Okay, as you can see, we've got green, so that doesn't, our colors don't match up. We've got red here, we've got green here, and green here. So okay, so here we go. We've got our red bar above our moving average here. We've got red on the CCI, and we've got red on the HMA. So let's go ahead and enter a trade here. I'm just going to do one micro lot. You guys can figure out your risk or whatever, you know, for your account size. I've got just a $1,000 account here, I think. So we're actually going to change this ATR pips to be 1.5 times. So we're going to do 1.5. That way that'll tell us what our stop loss will need to be all the time, because we're going to use our exit indicator as the HMA. So go ahead and hit 1.5. There we go. So our stop loss on this will be 23 pips. Okay. Again, we're going to exit when we change it. Okay, so let's change our stop loss here to 23. And then take profit, we're going to leave at 0 because we're going to do it manually. So we're going to do a sell trade right here. Sell trade. There we go. Okay, so go to our next bar. Again, we're going to stay in until we get a change of this HMA. And there we go, we got stopped out. So that trade was no good. But we do have a green bar here. We've got our CCI green here. We did have green above the moving average right here. But I think we want to make it green on our entry candle. So let's wait and see what happens. We may change that as we get into this further. But okay, so we got green here above our moving average. We've got green on the CCI and then green on our HMA. So let's see, our stop loss will be 25 pips here. 25 pips, we're going to buy and go to our next bar, see what happens. As you can see, we're getting a pretty good trend here. Might be switching over here in a minute though. There we go. Okay, so we've got our exit now on our HMA. So we're going to close this trade. Well, and that one we exited in profit. So now we want to watch for a short trade because we got red here, we got red on the CCI. We want to watch for our red candle here. Okay, so we got red here, we got red here, and we got red here. So we're going to enter a short trade. It looks like our stop loss is going to be 25 pips again. So enter short, and we will close out when the HMA changes. Or we get stopped out, one of the two. Okay, so go ahead and close here because we've got our HMA that changed. So close our trades here. That one was for profit as well. So now we're going to be looking for a long trade. So we've got green here. We've got, looks like we just barely touched the line on that one, and we've got green here. So I'm going to wait for a little bit better entry here. Okay, so here we go. We've got another buy signal here. We've got green on the HMA. We've got green above our moving average on the Hawkeye, and then we've got green on the CCI. So let's see. It looks like our stop loss here is going to be 28 pips. And we'll go ahead and buy. We'll close out when our HMA changes. Okay, so our HMA changed there. So we're going to go ahead and close our trade. So now we're looking for a short signal because we got red there, we got red there, and we've got red here. Okay, so we have green there, but we're still red on the CCI and red on the HMA. Okay, so here we go. So now we got another short signal right here. We've got red on the HMA, red on the volume, red on the CCI. So we're going to sell there, and do next part here. Not sure why that isn't auto scaling, but as you can see, there is a little bit of green right there. So we're going to go ahead and exit out. So we'll go ahead and close our trade there. And we'll go ahead and hit our next trade. So I'm probably going to do about, say about 20 trades on this to kind of see how the system's going. You may want to do more, but for the purpose of this video, we'll just do about 20. So I think we got about 4 now. So now we're going to be, of course, wanting to look for a long trade because we've got green here, we got green here. We're just waiting for green on our volume. Okay, so we have red here on the HMA. We've got red on our volume and red on our CCI. So we're going to go ahead and take this trade. Our stop loss is going to be 20 pips. Okay. Go ahead and take that trade and see what happens. And we got stopped out on that one. As you can see though, now we've got a buy signal. So we've got a green one, a green one, and a green one. So what may be happening here is we may be ranging. So we may need to enter another indicator to hopefully keep us out of the ranging areas. Let's kind of see how this trade goes, and we'll go from there. But we'll go ahead and enter a buy. Stop loss is going to be 21 pips. And go ahead and hit a buy. So yeah, see, it looks like, yep, see, we hit our stop there. So we're kind of in a ranging area here. So let's see if we can find an indicator that helps with ranging. Now, I do know one that I've used in the past was the Volatility Zero Line indicator. And I've had decent luck with that on keeping me out of ranging markets. So let's see if we can find that. Okay, Volatility Quality Zero Line. Let's add that. Okay. Now, it's regular settings are 15 and 3. Now, I know I'm going to change these because I've used this indicator before, but I'll just kind of show you what I'm looking for. So what we want to do to kind of stay out of ranging markets is we want to make sure that the volatility line matches up with our trend direction here. So we're going to go ahead and change this because I don't like, this is kind of, getting us back in here in the ranging markets. I guess we would have had green here, we would have had green here, but I'm not sure if this is just going to drop down here. So maybe what we'll do, we're going to change this to 12 and 1 for the smoothing method. That changes it, I believe, to exponential. It could be a price weighted moving average too. I'll have to look it up. I'll put it in my description and see. Okay, so that got rid of this range right here, and according to that range, we're still short here. So we wouldn't have taken this trade right here. Because as you can see, we were still red right here. So let's kind of see what that does. So we're going to add a rule where this has to be green along with these. We'll see kind of what that does for the following trades. Okay. Okay. So we've got another green there. We've got another green here. And we do have green on the Volatility Quality Zero Line. So let's go ahead and set a buy there. Looks like our stop loss is 33 on this one. Go ahead and buy. And again, we'll exit when this changes. So as you guys can see, this Volatility Quality Zero Line indicator, we'll just call it VQZ from now on. It's kind of kept us in this trend. As you can see, it stayed green even though we've had pullbacks here along with the HMA. So that's kind of what I'm looking for, but maybe it'll keep us out of ranging markets a little bit. Okay, So we have an exit signal here. So we're going to go ahead and close this trade. And then we'll wait for an entry signal here. So as you can see, it switched back to green. So this is ranging here quite a bit, which our indicators are keeping us out of that crap as of right now. Okay, so we have good volume here. We've got green, and we're still green on the VQI. So maybe, I don't know, maybe we may even want to think about using this VQI as our indicator to stay in the trend, because we still would have been in this trade if we'd done that. So let's go ahead though, and we're going to actually change our rules now to forgot to add this to our volatility. We're just going to call it VQZ indicator shows same color. Okay. All right. So we'll go ahead and buy here. It looks like our stop loss will be 22 pips. Buy. Okay. So we'll go ahead and exit there, just because that fits our rules. But interestingly enough, we'd still be in the trend on this VQZ line. So let's kind of keep that in the back of our heads. Maybe we will change that up. But for now, we'll just keep it like it is till we get more trades. Okay, so now we're going to be looking for maybe a sell trade. Okay, so we've got red here, red here, red here, but our VQZ line still doesn't give us an entry. So we'll wait, see what happens. Okay, so we have another buy entry here, so we're going to buy, but interestingly enough, we would have stayed in the trend had we followed this VQ0 line. So we'll buy again because it meets our rules. 19 for our stop loss. We'll go ahead and buy. Okay. Okay. So we got an exit here. It's going to hit our stop loss. As you guys can see, I get a lot of DMs from the Discord every day, so it's hard for me to do a video uninterrupted. Actually, I'll close out of this so we don't see those. Sorry, guys. Okay. So we're going to be looking for a short trade here. So it looks like our VQ0 line has just crossed over. So interestingly, if we would have stayed in that trend, this is where we would have been getting out according to this indicator. So this may be a better trend indicator for us than this HMA is. So we'll just kind of keep an eye on it and see. We can always revise the strategy later, but our big thing is to have, a bunch of trades that we can adjust on, that we can go by. Okay, so we've got green here, we've got green here. As you can see, the green is just barely above the line right there. We can zoom in a little so you can see that right here, just barely above the line. So we'll go ahead and buy. Got 24 pips stop loss. Buy. And we got stopped out. Okay, so we got sell here, sell here, sell here, but not on the volume. So maybe we might want to think about getting rid of this volume because it seems to be keeping us into trends here. But let's do more trades first so that we kind of know. I mean, we're still in the profit here as far as our equity line goes. So we're not losing money yet. So let's just keep our rules intact for now and see what happens. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and enter a sell here. Oh wait, actually we're not because we don't have volume above the moving average yet. There we go. Now we do. Okay. So we'll go ahead and enter a sell here. We're at 23 pips. Sell. And we got stopped out. Okay. So we don't quite have a buy signal here. We're still red on the VQI. So let's see what's happening here. Okay, so we have a buy signal here. So let's go ahead and buy. Buy. Okay, so go ahead and close out here. Small profit there. If we would have used this as our exit indicator, looks like we would have gotten out right about there, which was almost at the top of this trend. So there's a couple trades that this would have gotten our benefit just using this as our exit indicator instead of the and entry indicator instead of this HMA. So let's kind of keep that in the back of our heads, but that may be what we want to do in this situation. We could also add a faster HMA here and wait for a crossover before we entered and a crossover before we exit. That's another option too. Let's actually go ahead and do that. We'll kind of see how they compare. So let's do a Megatrend here. We're going to make this like a 3 for a fast speed one. Okay. There we go. Okay, so if we would have done crossovers, right, that would have got us into the trend right here because we'd have a cross right back here, but our trend still doesn't say, you know, that we need to get out. We would have had this and a cross here, and that's interestingly enough where our volatility Q0 index cross was right around that same area. And here is right about where it crossed as well. So that's something else to think of. Right now we'll keep the same rules just because we don't know if we're just on, you know, a streak of, you know, not very good wins. We are still in the profit, so that's the important thing. But we'll just keep that in the back of our heads. Okay, so we have a buy signal here. We don't quite have a buy signal on the PQ0 line. So okay, so we have crossover here. We've got, let's see, we got red here on the whole moving average. We got red on all of these. So let's go ahead and enter a short trade. 32 pips is going to be our stop loss. We're going to sell. Okay, we got stopped out on that one. So if we would have used this as our entry here, we would have got a buy signal here, here, and here before we get one on the volume. And that would have got us in this trend here. Same thing with here. We would have got a sell signal here, here, and here that would have kept us in, at least would have been profitable there. I don't know how much, but it would have been profitable. Yeah, I've kind of been thinking in the back of my head to get rid of this volume indicator. So let's do that. Let's change our rules a little bit, see what happens. Okay, so delete that. And then we're going to change these to where change this to HMA, DQZ, and CCI must all be the same color. Okay, so we've got that here. Then we'll exit. Let's actually change this to when we get across of that short HMA over the long HMA. Cross short HMA over long. Okay. See what that does. Okay, so we can get rid of that. That. Okay. All right. So we missed our long trade here. So maybe, so we probably don't want to enter again until we get an opposite signal. As you can see, that would have been a pretty good trade if we would have been following those rules and got in there. But that's what we're doing right now. We're trying to figure out what may or may not work for us as an algo. So, okay. So we've got sell signals here. We still don't have one from the long HMA though. We do have a crossover of the HMAs. There we go. So now, so actually that may have got us in a little earlier if we just went by the crossover and not this long HMA. Okay, so 23 pips. Okay, so actually, if you look at it, I wasn't paying attention. We actually would have got, if we go by this, what's our exit rules? Our exit rules is cross of short HMA back over the long. Okay, so we don't have an exit yet. And we haven't hit our stop yet. So we'll just stay in, which, okay, we may have, no, not quite a cross. There we go. Now we have a cross. So we'll close out of our trade here. That wasn't a bad trade. I wish we would have got in on this candle. But again, that's just tweaking our indicators to see kind of, you know, what's going to happen. Okay. So we have another sale trade here. Okay. So change this to 24. Sell. Okay. Got a crossover, so we'll want to close out of that trade. Keep our losses small, right? So it looks like we're kind of ranging here, as you can see. So as you can see, that kind of running the simulator helps you to recognize patterns and kind of see how the market moves too. It's a lot better than just going back through the charts, which is why I personally prefer using the simulator. Okay, so we got 21 pip stop loss here. So, okay, got a crossover here. So we'll close out of that trade. But see, it's looking more and more like we may want to maybe tweak these settings a little and use this as our trend indicator, maybe instead of the crossover. I don't know. This is just kind of, you know, what you go through when you're trying to find an indicator here. So we had a crossover right here, and if you look though, it crossed right back over, so we probably don't want to enter that trade. Okay, so we got a crossover there. Okay, so maybe we're getting into long territory now. We've got long signals there, crossover. So now we're waiting for that BQ line. And again, I'm no expert at this. This is just kind of how I do it. Okay, so we've got buy signals here. So let's go ahead and buy. 21 pip stop loss. And we'll see what happens. Okay, so we got a crossover right here. We almost took out our stop. So go ahead and close it. Okay, so we would have got stopped out right there anyway. So it's a good thing we close that. Okay, so we got a pretty big sell right here, 27. Whoa, that was a big candle. Okay, let's look and see how many trades we've taken so far. 38 trades. Okay, pretty decent statistic. Okay. So our drawdown is 0.03%. So as you can see, I'm risking less than I probably should on these trades. So our profit would be a little bit higher. I'm just doing one micro lot because I don't want to worry about risk right now. I just want to figure out what indicators are going to work. And then I will concentrate on my money management. I'll do another video as far as money management goes. But see here. So gross profit 36.23, gross loss 19.93. Things have been going decent so far. Let's give it about another, let's try and get up to about 100 trades. See what's going on. Okay, so we've got a long signal here. This one is kind of worrying me because it was a huge candle here, so it's almost like it was maybe news or something. But we don't know, and our indicators tell us to go in. So let's go ahead. Actually, do we have a cross? Oh, we do have a cross right there. Okay. So we'll go ahead and go in. Our stop loss on this is going to be 39 pips. Go ahead and buy. Well, if it was news, it gave us a pretty good trend there. Okay, so we actually had a crossover, I think, that I missed right here. Yeah, so we've got a crossover here. So we're going to go ahead and close our trade out there. Okay, so we've got red here, got a crossover here. We're going back up to green though. Okay, I can't see. There we go. Okay, so we've got red here. We've got crossover here. We're still green on our other indicators though. Okay, so we've got a sell signal here. So go ahead and sell. Stop loss is 25 pips. Okay, there we go. So we've got a close there. Okay, so we technically got another sell signal here. We probably could have stayed in that trade because it crossed back over, but again, those were the rules we set up. So as you go longer, you'll kind of see what's happening with the candles, and you can adjust your rules accordingly. But you don't want to do a trade by trade. We want to keep like a long term of trades if possible to give us the biggest, sample size. Um, actually, hold on. Sorry, Kai. Go out, please. Loki, come here. Sorry, guys. Okay. Let's see. Okay, guys. Sorry about that. And that confusion, I missed that last sell signal. So we're going to go back up here, zoom in so you can see the chart. We did have a crossover here, but got, so that signal ended. We've got a crossover here. So we technically have a sell signal. We have for 3 candles now. So I probably should have entered 3 candles ago when this one crossed over, but that's all right. We'll go ahead and enter here. So our stop loss is going to be 17 pips on this. Oh, got stopped out. But we have a buy signal here, so let's go ahead and buy 21 pips. And we got stopped out. Okay, so we've got a sell signal here with everything but the VQ0 line. Okay, so we have a pretty good sell signal right there. Go ahead and enter. And we got swapped out again. Okay, we've got a buy signal here. 18 pips. Okay, so we technically got a buy signal here. We crossed over. It's making me worry though, because this market's kind of ranging right now, but that's in our rules, so we will go for it. Huh? Now it worked out in our favor. Huh. Okay, so we've got a exit signal here. Close out. Another buy signal here. We've got a exit signal there. Buy signal there, or sell signal, sorry. Got stopped out. Okay, so we're still in this trade here. We haven't got a crossover. There we go. Just caught from there. Close out of that one. And there we go. Cross back down here. So we've got another sell trade here. Okay, so we got a crossover there. So go ahead and close out. Okay, we got a cross back here. So we'll go ahead and sell. I think we're down to 21 pips now though. Cross over here. As you can see, we're getting a bunch of okay. So we've got a long signal on both those, but we're still waiting on there we go. So now we've got a long signal on all three of these. So we're gonna go ahead and go long here. 5 pips. Okay, got a crossover here, so close our trade out. Okay, we got another crossover here, green and green, so go ahead and buy. There we go. Close out of that. Okay, got a big sell signal right there. Pretty small stop loss, so we might do stopped out of this one, but we have the signal, so we need to buy it or sell it. I mean, okay. Okay. Okay, so we got stopped out there. Still got a sell signal though. Okay, so we got a buy signal here. And we got a sell signal here. Okay, so we got a crossover there, so we will buy again. Okay, so we got a crossover here. Sell signal here. Whoa, big candle. Which caused us a buy signal. So we're at, what is that, 26 pips? Okay, so we have another buy signal here. Stopped out right away on that one. Buy signal there. Say 29 pips. Stopped out there. Okay, so we have a sell signal on two of our indicators there. Okay, we got a buy signal here. We got a crossover, green HMA, buy, 27 pips. And we got a crossover there. Close out. Well, looks like we actually had. Okay, so we got a sell signal there. So we'll go ahead and enter sell. Okay, buy signal here. Whoops, I think we actually missed. Yeah, so we had a sell signal right here. So it looks like we may need a better indicator to keep us out of ranging market. So that's probably what I would concentrate on next, trying to find for this. Oh, I didn't set that high enough. Okay, so if you messed up on your stop loss, you can actually go in here to trades and modify. Okay, it gives us a visual so we can drag our stop loss to 36 pips. Set. Stopped out. Okay, so we got a buy signal here. Stopped out there. Okay, do have a sell signal too. So whoops, like we actually missed sell signal right there. Okay, so okay, we cross back over here. So close that trade. And so this may be one system where a higher time frame keeps us out of, constantly being stopped out on trends and having to re-enter. So that's something to think about on this. Oh, did I have a sell signal before that? Nope, didn't. Okay, cool. Alright, let's see how many trades we've taken here. I think I'm going to end this video just because it's so long, but that's kind of the process I go through. Yeah, we've taken 50 trades here. That's kind of the process I go through when I'm trying to find a system. I don't know if it's the best way, but it's the way I do it, so maybe it helps some of you out there. Looks like our statistics overall, we were profitable. Probably not as much of a profit as we would like. Again, our risk wasn't adjusted for that at all. So our absolute drawdown was 0.03%. So we probably could have upped the risk on this a little bit, and done some better. But I mean, this may be kind of the start of a system to maybe expand on further. I don't know. Um, I'll leave that up to you guys. But if you guys are interested in links to any of the indicators I posted, I'll go ahead and put those. Um, I'll go ahead and put those in the description, as well as links to my videos on the simulator tutorials if you want to learn how to use them. But yeah, if you have any questions, you can contact me either through my website at beastmodetrading.net, or you can contact me through the Discord. Thanks, guys.